Greetings, travelers! My name is Roscoe, and welcome back to Dark World Central. So, it's been a while since I've done a ranking video. Actually, how long has it been? Oh. Christ. Yeah, sorry I haven't been making a lot of these lately. It seems my mind just went to other places. It also doesn't help that I basically spent last year screwing around and playing Peak with friends, but that's not important! So, yeah, anyways, Undertale Yellow. You may recall that I did some streams playing through all the game's routes and getting broken at least 10 times. To tell you the truth, I don't know if I've recovered. But I didn't do all of that for no reason. Well, other than, you know, actually wanted to check out the game. I also played it in research for this very video. This is a ranking that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I am so glad that I can finally get into ranking all of the boss themes from this game. Just a couple of things before I jump in. This video will contain major spoilers for those who haven't played the game yet, so if you don't want to hear any, you might want to tap out of this video. And secondly, if you disagree with any of my rankings, that's completely fine. Just don't be rude about it. I am watching you.
And there is nothing you can do to stop me.
Now with that all out of the way, let's get into the ranking. And already we are starting off strong. This boss theme has a very mystique and cryptic vibe to it, much like Decibat. It stays secluded by itself in the dark ruins and likes things to keep quiet, and also speaks somewhat cryptically. But you'd think that Fever Pitch would also be a quiet song, but no, it's actually kind of loud. Maybe that was intentional, to contrast Decibat wanting everything to be quiet, but the song itself is loud, but hey, that's just me spitballing. But even with that aside, it is a banger for a first boss track. A tier. Forlorn perfectly encapsulates the feeling the boss goes for. This boss, but more importantly its theme, feels painful. Dalv doesn't want to fight you, at least in the pacifist route, and feels bad for doing so. But he also tries to justify attacking Clover. I mean, they did intrude in the Dark Ruins, whether intentionally or not. But he just can't help but feel bad about attacking you, and feels even worse when Dalv realizes Clover isn't attacking him in the pacifist route. Meanwhile, in the Vengeance route, it's painful but in a different way. Dalv's friends are gone, or at least any semblance of company he had is gone now. And he is truly alone. But he didn't want to be alone forever and misses everyone that interacted with him in some way. And in the neutral route, if you kill Dalv anyways, when he's about to die, he's sad that he never got to say anything to anyone before he went. No goodbyes, no formal apologies, nothing. So all he can say is one simple sorry to everyone he's met, even if no one is around to hear it. Forlorn is a truly fitting title to this boss theme, and captures that feeling perfectly. S tier. Protocol is the perfect embodiment of Martlet in the pacifist and neutral routes. Given it's her first time ever capturing a real human, she wants it to go as perfectly as possible. But when that doesn't happen, she starts to crack a little, and she's left feeling a little confused. And the music captures that perfectly. She's trying to be all professional and imposing, but just ends up coming off a little dorky. And that, to me, is what vibe this boss theme gives off. Professional, but dorky. But its dorkiness aside, it is one of the best boss fight themes of this game so far. It is such a genuinely fun track that I just can't rank it any lower than S tier. To be honest, I don't have anything interesting to say about this one. I like the genre it aims for, and I like how it's set to a rhythm game for this fight. I also love how this boss just comes out of nowhere with no build-up whatsoever, but yeah, that's all I have to say. But still, fun boss track. A tier. This boss scene perfectly captures how fed up the feisty 4 are with Clover. It's got this "we are so done with you" tone all throughout its theme, and has a severely negative energy to it. I mean, I don't exactly blame them. This random human kid they don't even know gets special treatment. Hell, even given the position of deputy, while the others had to go through rigorous trials and tests, even for weeks on end, just to become another member, while Clover gets to be offered a deputy position in a single day. Yeah, I don't blame them for wanting to put Clover to the test themselves, dealing out everything they can at Clover, at least until Starlo interrupts them. And this boss scene captures all of that perfectly. Yet another amazing track. A tier. Showdown is probably up there for one of the best boss themes of this game. It just manages to capture Undertale Yellow's essence as a whole. If I were to pick one track to describe this game, at least on a base level, I would probably pick this one, and I think that's a pretty good sign for how good of a boss theme this is. But all that aside, it's still a great boss theme for Starlo. It truly captures his character and how he's feeling in the moment. He tries to convince himself that he wants to capture Clover for his soul and be seen as a hero, maybe even win the hearts of everyone in the Wild East, and maybe the Underground. But deep down, he doesn't want to do that. He really values Clover and sees true potential in them. But when he loses everyone due to his own arrogance and pushes everyone aside just for Clover, he blames Clover. But really, the only one he can blame is himself. It is absolutely a great track, and a must to listen to. S tier. For yet another one-off character, this boss theme goes seriously hard. Much like Gardner, it has this huge imposing feel to it, making it sound all the more threatening. I also love the instrumentation and composition. The synthy sounds, metallic clanks, and the halftime changes just add to the overall vibe, and maybe even help with making it sound even more threatening. Once again, another great track, to the surprise of no one. A tier. Guns Blazing is so funny to me. Like, Axis is such a pathetic character. I'm not saying he can't pose as a threat to Clover or Soroba, and he really does at some points. But yeah, he's really not the brightest bulb in the shed. He's sometimes so incompetent that it makes Martlet look professional. Actually, no, that is just a complete lie. But even as pathetic or unprofessional Axis can be, he still gets one of the hardest boss themes of the whole game. But to me, it also sounds like the song is trying to make up for how klutzy or incompetent Axis can be, and that just makes it infinitely more funny. But you know what? It makes up for all of that by tenfold, because, God, just listen to this! Yeah, I think it goes without saying where I'd place this song. S tier. Some point of no return marks, well, the point of no return. Glad we got that out of the way. Joking aside, this theme marks a significant point in the pacifist route. With Soroba having been caught in the act, it leaves her no choice but to take you on. And she's not going down easily. She'll try to take your soul by all means necessary. Anything to at least see Kaneko one more time, to fix her past mistakes. And now, it's the beginning of a fight to the death. A tier. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna rank all of these phases as one song. After Soroba realizes that Clover isn't going down easily either, she pulls out one more thing. Kaneko's mask. And she equips it and uses it as one more desperate attempt to take Clover's soul. And as the fight goes on, she holds back less and less each time. This boss scene captures the pure desperation from Soroba's unwillingness to give up, and Clover's own refusal to give up too. And even after everything Clover has gone through and what Soroba will put Clover through, after everything, they still don't give up. It's honestly a masterpiece of a song, I don't know how else to say it. So, we'll just place it at S tier. So firstly, I must say that you for killing Marla, you pathetic little bastard! The next time I see you, I'm gonna shove your face in until you become nothing but a pile of shaving! Anyways, the song. After Flowey commits a war crime, he pretty much lets go of his nice guy persona and just lets chaos reign. And yeah, it is basically the definition of things coming to insanity. The song perfectly describes the tipping point for Flowey and how tired he was of just keeping everything in. Hell, he even goes as far to make you fight everyone you killed in the neutral route, just to drive in that point of insanity. But it was not worth killing Martlet over Flowey, how could you?! Anyways, A tier. Afterlife takes the insanity from Best Friends Forever and takes it up a few notches, but it also has a degree of pure hopelessness and dread, making the song that much more crazy. Clover and Flowey are basically stuck in this never-ending loop, just waiting and waiting and fighting until at least one of them drops dead. But the thing is, that can't happen. Both of them are too stubborn to give up, and neither of them will find an end. The boss theme captures that never-ending loop and increasing insanity from this fight, just waiting for an end that never comes. S tier. So take Protocol, tone down the dorkiness, replace it with a more serious edge, and you got Apprehension. But it's not just a straight one-to-one conversion of Protocol, but retooled to fit the Vengeance route. Well, okay, it kind of is, but there's a little more to it. The boss theme captures something switching in Martlet, dropping her usual personality altogether and practically turning into an entirely different character. She can't be all goofy and airheaded like she usually is. No, for a pretty rare time in her life, she takes a major responsibility in her own hands. Or rather, her own wings. And that responsibility is protecting monster kind from Clover and making sure they can't get any further. Making sure they can't hurt anyone else. And while the song's structure stays largely the same minus a few parts added, it is a much different take on Protocol, and man, I just absolutely love it. So, I'll place it at S tier. Trial by Fury is yet another fitting name for this boss theme. You could just feel Soroba's fury and rage after seeing that Clover killed Starlo, someone who she was friends with for pretty much her whole lifetime. Now that he's gone and knows who did it, because they're right there, she will do anything and everything to avenge Starlo, and Soroba doesn't play around. You thought her final boss in the Pacifist route was hard? Try the Vengeance route boss. Literally every hit you take drains your health. This boss took me 3 hours to beat. But we're not talking about the boss itself, or rather my experience with it. I have a whole video for that anyways. This boss scene captures the pure fury that Soroba feels at Clover for killing Starlo. Nothing else matters to her now. Her only goal is avenging Starlo. S tier! End of the Line is honestly a less cool version of Guns Blazing. I'm not saying it's outright bad, I just don't think it's as cool as Guns Blazing. But it's still a cool song, just in its own way. I like that it's a role reversal of Axis's pacifist or neutral fights, where Axis is the one that's desperately clinging on to the lid that he'd normally give you, and trying to defend himself from your attacks. Only for him to be completely obliterated later, but that's beside the point. The boss theme gives off the feeling of how screwed Axis is. He has nowhere left to run, and no matter how many steps he takes to defend himself from Clover, well, he can kiss the Steamworks goodbye, cause yeah, he's not making it out alive. Some would say it's the end of the line. Okay, you know what? Even if I said this is a less cool version of Guns Blazing, I'll still rank this at S tier. God damn! How does Martlet keep getting some of the best boss themes in Undertale Yellow? Remedy is such a perfect boss theme. It captures Martlet's will to set things right, to stop this genocide from happening. She can't let Clover do anything anymore, and she takes matters into her own hands once again. And this time by transforming into a literal bird goddess. This boss theme is solely focused on Martlet as well, mainly sharing motifs from her other themes, such as Protocol and Apprehension, but reworked drastically to fit this final fight for monster kind, and ultimately its last hope. Because if Martlet fails now, everyone is doomed. S tier. Retribution serves as a sort of part 2 to Remedy, because it's the second phase, but it has one major change. The theme is no longer focused on Martlet, and instead Clover. You don't really hear any of Martlet's motifs throughout Retribution, or at least not off the top of my head. Instead, you hear motifs from Enemy Retreating. In fact, I would see this song as an extended, more fleshed out version of Enemy Retreating. The song is no longer mainly about Monster Kind's final fight for hope. Now, it's about Clover's last true enemy standing in their way. It's a very chilling song that describes Clover's drive to finally put an end to this fight, and to deliver the justice they've been aiming for since the very beginning of this route. To Clover, Martlet is just the last obstacle in their mission, to bring justice. S tier! And that, travelers, concludes this ranking of Undertale Yellow boss themes. And hey, a lot of high rankings, nothing under A tier actually. I guess I apologize this ranking wasn't more varied, but hey, I'm just being completely honest. I also apologize for taking a while to make this video. I've been experiencing mad burnout. But with this ranking done, let me know what you would like to see me rank next in the comments. It could be of other franchises or games not related to Undertale, Undertale Yellow, or Deltarune. Maybe music from other video games, or other kinds of rankings, like a character ranking. Who's to say? But for now, thank you all for watching. If you're new here, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you'd be interested in seeing more content like this. And until then, safe travels, everyone!